Bummer, this place is closed. Happy holidays. Stop if you have a fever, if you have a persistent cough, if you have shortness of breath, if you feel sick. I like this right here. Mask or no mask, we respect your decision. Why can't people be respectful and appreciate my rights? Not trample on my rights. Some places are free down here, some others not so much. So we'll definitely go support my friend Jay, who has no signs for masks, doesn't require masks, doesn't harass people about masks. Looks pretty free here. Mexican place right here. I don't see a mask sign. No mask sign. Amazing. I don't understand why some businesses have them and some don't. Makes no sense. Another one over here. Wow, it's like a tale of two cities. Between Massachusetts. Oh, this is where I ate last night. That's right. I'm gonna definitely go in there in a minute. Look at all the people in there. Beautiful. Freedom. Maybe this governor isn't such a dick after all. He probably still is, though. All government. It's illegitimate. And they're all tyrants. And they'll succumb, just like everyone else. People out walking around. Full time. I don't see a mask sign. People are loving the hat. Cigar shop over there. It's a nice little town. Cigars and accessories.
I'm sorry.
It's nice to see actual faces.
Hey, what's up, man?
I'm coming from Massachusetts, and wow, talk about a tale of two cities. Please don't, dude. Please don't. I get PTSD from that. The COVID world we're in. I'm just trying to, I have a YouTube channel and a podcast. Just trying to show people what freedom looks like.
Nice.
I mean, I don't trust this. I don't trust any governor or any government for that matter. So it's like, I think they're all gonna cave, because I think we're up against something way more big and scary. And these people are less and less concerned with our actual objection to the whole thing. I wanted to basically go around to find people willing to maybe talk on either off camera or on camera. If they didn't want their face, I was gonna just ask. I was gonna say, in light of what we've seen in 2020, in this new COVID crazy world where they have people so afraid of each other that they won't even have Thanksgiving together, that they canceled Christmas and New Year's all because the TV and the government told them to. I mean, in light of all that, what does freedom mean to you guys? What does it mean? If anyone's willing to answer that, on this video, I would love it. Because I'm just trying to, you know, because you guys, I mean, you don't really understand what it's like to be held down, like, and locked down like that.
Oh, we're not from here.
You're not. Where are you from?
We're from Miami.
Oh, so you got it even better down there, I heard.
Better.
Is it what? Is it mass sent?
I
Is
would
it bad?
say it would
Yeah,
be in
it was
between
pretty-
because I have family in New York.
We were in New
It's
York.
in
We were
between New York and here, where it's a little bit more strict, but not like it is over there. So, from what I've heard, I haven't been there, but
I hear New
from what
York.
I've heard.
They're saying New York's like ground zero for tyranny. Like New York, California. The mayor of California came out and did he announced that second lockdown or whatever, and he literally said it's time to cancel everything. He literally said people couldn't leave their homes to go for walks. These people are laughing at us. What?
We can go for a walk with a mask.
Exactly, that's what I mean. There's a tale of two worlds, you know, where it's like in some places they literally, I mean, even if it was the Black Plague, they still can't take away our rights.
Yeah.
Right.
Seriously.
Right,
Like,
well,
do you think if it was a real,
that's-
do you think if it was a real pandemic and that it was as crazy as they're saying, do you think we'd all be arguing about it?
No,
Do you think we would
that's-
need the government to
That's
force
what I'm-
us in our
that's
homes?
What I wanted to say to you.
No.
So when you think about it, we all want to be free, right? And whether this is true or not, we're being told it's true, right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do people do? They're being told if you go out without a mask,
You're gonna get
You're gonna
ticketed.
get other people sick.
Yeah, yep. And you're
and
gonna get in
people-
trouble.
So we comply because we're a society that actually cares about other people.
Yeah, there is compassion in our
There's-
society.
and I think that's what that's showing.
It's just being it's being manipulated with
they're
people.
probably manipulating it, but I think that's one of the things.
There is a
That's
capacity
a positive
for
side
yeah,
out of it. Right?
I was
You
thinking
can't
about that
just-
too.
You can't just get stuck on the negative.
Oh yeah.
People are actually, because you're being told if you wear a mask, you protect other people. And people are like, sure, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll do that. But then you get into all the other things, and is it real? Is it not? How bad is it actually? Does it work? Does it not work? So
It's just it's wild. I was doing a radio show in New Hampshire where like on my videos I cuss like a sailor, but I go on the radio and I can't. I literally can't, or I wouldn't really be welcome on the show. So like we're talking about all this crazy stuff where it's like we've been drilling it home now, like it's not like it's just a mask. It's not a big deal. Like it's you give them an inch and they'll take a mile. And they always do. And they never give our rights back to us once they take them. Or once they gain more power, more control. They never let it go. Like, there was a report. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about the World Economic Forum. But they're talking about a Great Reset. And there's something called the GreatReset.com. It's like a propaganda marketing campaign for the World Economic Forum's Great Reset program. Which the CEO of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, he literally wrote a book called COVID-19, The Great Reset. And we know these people have the ideology like never let a good crisis go to waste. So it's like, for me personally, with the journey I've had in life, I question everything. Why should I trust a word these people say to me? We've been lied to over and over and over again. Like, literally almost about every major war, all based on lies, like false incidents. Although I mean, it goes so deep. Why should I trust these people? There's no reason for me to trust these people. And it's like I drew my line when they said it's a crime to breathe oxygen. Right. Like we were given God-given inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and life requires oxygen. Does it not? You know?
yeah, it does.
And like literally my family's so afraid of me that like we didn't have Thanksgiving, we didn't have Christmas, we didn't have New Year's, and it's like literally they are going along with everything these people say without question.
That's the other side of it, and it's interesting to me is you look at people's, whether it's Trump or Biden now, but people are picking sides, and you're picking side of the powerful. These people don't care about us, and I love a quote from George Carlin, it's a big ass club.
And you ain't in it.
Exactly, man. We are not in it.
He nailed it. I mean, he nailed it.
Yes.
Do you really think these people care about us? Like, these tyrant governors and mayors, and have they missed a paycheck? Have they missed a meal?
They don't.
No, but they point their finger at these small businesses who are the backbone of the United States economy. They're the true economy. You and I are the true economy. Not corporations like Walmart, Amazon, Lowe's, Home Depot, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. We did a report on that radio show. Since March, the trillionaires have become, or the billionaires have become $1 trillion richer. Can you even wrap your heads around how big a trillion is? I try to explain this to people all the time to get through to people. I go, it takes 31 days to count to 1 million. It takes 31 years to count to 1 billion. It takes 31,000 years to count to 1 trillion. And they just signed 2 stimulus bills totaling over $8 trillion. So if you do the math on that, it's like 240,000 years if we started counting right now for all the corporate bailouts that they just announced. They're laughing at the American people. $600?
$600. You know how much in taxes I've paid? Do you know?
They steal money from us, and then they give us back, like, you know, less than 2%, and they, like, want us to be happy. Government. Biggest bullies, the biggest criminals, the biggest terrorists there is. You can't even argue it. The CIA, I mean, they literally overthrow governments before breakfast. You know? And I'm supposed to trust these people. What happened to Jeffrey Epstein? How we're supposed to believe he killed himself?
Oh, come on now. That's the one universal, right?
Everyone
agrees on that one.
Yeah, but then they'll turn around and say, I believe everything else CNN tells me, though. Like, what? They're literally drilling it home, telling us that we should expect to believe that this guy who had all this dirt on all these people, flight logs of some really interesting people that are literally running and controlling our world. Like, if there's no justice in this world unless we make it, you know? I mean, seriously, there's no justice. We need to build a better world. We need these people are talking about a great reset where they're changing everything about like human lives. Like, we're gonna live in a mass surveillance police state for the rest of our lives if we don't rise up, band together, and say, fuck these people once and for all. We're not gonna kill them. We're not gonna, because when people find out what these people did, especially these children, because this shit's real. It's dark and it's scary, but it's fucking real. When people find out on a mass scale what these people did to these children, you're gonna see that these people are gonna want blood. They're gonna want to string them up. But you know what? If we want to become better, because we've had enough trauma and enough pain and enough suffering and enough death and violence in our history, in our human story, if we want to be better and build a better world, we need to be better right here and now, you know? It's like, think about it. If we're the kind of society that is going to throw away homeless people and throw away drug addicts and just kick them to the curb and not even give a flying fuck about those people, if we think that's okay and we're okay with these politicians who pal around with Jeffrey Epstein and, you know, all these real sick monsters, like, if we are the kind of society that allows those things to happen, it's like, sometimes I ask myself the question, do we deserve all of this? Like, as a, you know, society that's just allowed these things to happen, you know? Because we've been so asleep, we've been so selfish, we've been so sedated, you know? And these people have engineered a repressive society where it's almost so difficult just to get through a day. Just to get through a day. And, like, especially if you have kids, oh my god, so difficult. It's difficult to get sleep. It's like, I mean, they've really made it so hard. They steal like 30-40% of our money, and then they go and use it to, like, drop like $1 million bombs on $10 tents in other countries. And we go and vote for this shit every year. That's
not all of us.
No, I know, I don't, but I'm just saying. I'm an anarchist voluntarist where it's like, I'm not going to vote for the chains of my own enslavement, and I'm not going to vote for the chains of someone else's enslavement that chooses to try and opt out, you know, by not voting. And it's like, my dad went out and voted this year, never ever voted in his life. He voted for Joe Biden. I'm like, you know, I try to show them like these compilations of Joe Biden sniffing and groping little children, and it's like, I mean, the guy can't even remember what state he's in or like what office he's running for.
You're talking to a couple libertarians here.
Oh, awesome! I knew I'd find some libertarians down here. Have you guys ever heard of Free Talk? Have you guys ever heard of, wow, I found the right people. Holy shit. That's why you guys haven't freaking chased me off yet. Most people would be like, this dude's fucking nuts. He's talking about gold and silver and Bitcoin and freedom.
Train since 2010.
Oh, so you're doing well. I'm late to the game, man. Real late to the game. It sucks. It's like I've been punched in the face with this reality, you know. It's like
that's one thing.
Just waking up the last couple of years.
Her, my family, and her family. You can start with simple things, and it seems like a pain in the ass, and it's amazing how people think it's a pain in the ass, but it's a small change. Use a different messaging app because there exists
Telegram, Signal.
Telegrams. I use Signal.
I actually heard the guy who created Telegram is like works or like is affiliated with the World Economic Forum. So I'm like, oh my god, like.
Well, I can tell you, being a computer person, I went to school for programming. Signal, you got to use open source software. You got to know what the software is doing. If you don't know, if you can't check the source code, you don't know what the phone is doing.
Yeah.
And we're all compliant. I'm sitting here with a Android. I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Being a hypocrite right now because I got an Android here.
Yeah.
But little changes like that, they can start momentum.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. That's where it starts.
Yeah, I'm just like, I've been saying this a lot this year. It's like, I'd rather die living than die in my living room, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're seeing in the world. Like, people are so afraid. Like, and you know why? It's because they haven't lived. Like, if you see a person driving down the street and they're alone in their car and they have a mask on, like, that's a person that's broken. That's a broken soul. That person's carrying a lot of trauma. Like, a lot of us carry trauma that we don't ever address, and it affects how we are in the world, you know, like how we go about our lives, how we treat other people. And it's like, we need to address those traumas. That's what I had to do, like being a heroin addict and, like, you know, like really not wanting to be here anymore. I never, like, actually tried to hurt myself, but it was like, it was just so, I was so indifferent about life that it was just like, it was brutal. And to like overcome all that, the only way I did that was by addressing my demons. Like, we all have demons. You gotta face them. You gotta learn to live with the shadow, you know. And that's what I'm trying to get through to people, especially this year. Like, it was the craziest year. I had a cousin telling me to kill myself. I had this really crazy relationship with my mom. And, like, we're in a much better place now, but, like, you know, it's like, she's still buried in the mainstream media, and it's like, Mom, I'm trying to protect you, you know? It's like, I love you so much, I'm trying to protect you, like, and Bill Gates goes on TV, Stephen Colbert calls the vaccine the final solution, and we're just supposed to feel good about it. Like, what the hell? And they're never gonna let go of these lockdowns. Like I was saying earlier about the Great Reset. On greatreset.com it says, why do we need a reset? And it says, in 2020, because of the pause during the lockdowns, carbon emissions decreased by 7% in 2020. Then it says, the UN is requiring a 7.6% decrease every single year until 2030. So we best get used to living in lockdown. That's literally what it said on that greatreset.com. And now we are seeing mutant strains. I've been talking about mutant strains for 2 months. It originated out of Denmark. They killed like 17 million mink in Denmark. So sad. And they literally they were dragging, like, there were dead bodies of mink, like with like blood and guts like strewn all over the streets of Denmark. And it was just like, what the fuck? You telling me you care about people and you care about being sanitized or whatever? You're dragging dead animals up and down the streets of Denmark. because of an alleged mutant new strain of COVID. And then some asshole bureaucrat in Denmark goes on radio stations and he's openly saying that they're like prepared to kill house pets if they get COVID. What, you know, I've been asking people all year, last year, do you have a line in the sand? At what point, you know, is that barrier going to be crossed? What is it going to be? Is it going to be mandatory vaccinations, or is it going to be you can't work, you know, you can't work here unless you get a vaccination? What is it going to be? How many millions of people's lives have to be destroyed, these small businesses and all the people they employed? How many lives have to be destroyed? How many people have to kill themselves? How many drug ODs do we have to have? How many homeless people do we have to have? Where we haven't even seen the fallout from this. This is just getting going. And they're not going to let go of it, and all these people are going to be homeless, unemployed, and starving. What is our country going to look like? What is our country going to look like then? And everybody's so traumatized and scared, and they have no oxygen going to their brain because they're stuck in a mask. Like, people be dropping like flies. And then they can just blame COVID.
That's the thing, though. You gotta look out for other people, and you gotta stop making other people the enemy. And that's, I've seen the worst of in the last couple of years.
Yes.
You see two sides,
but I'm not
drawn in the sign, and people get super angry about, you know, you walk into a store, they ask you to put a mask on, and people flip out. And you see the opposite too, and we can't be doing that to us.
Yeah.
How do you win? Divide and conquer.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing to us right
now. They've broken us down.
That club we're not in, that's what they're doing to us
yeah.
right now.
That's the oldest trick in the book, divide and conquer. If my own cousin is telling me to kill myself, if my brother won't talk to me, my mom and I are at odds, and I have an uncle that said I should get kicked in the head, like, all these things, if it's that chaotic in my family, then what is the world? What can I expect from the world? Right? Like, these are people that I love, that I would take a bullet for. And that's what I'm fighting for. That's why I'm so open and like honest and trying to just, you know, really challenge this narrative, because this is the fight of our lives. This is the fight for freedom forever, right here, right now. It really, truly is. I've seen it. I've felt it. It is the true, like, I've been calling it the Great War without like trying to freak you guys out, but that's what I've been calling it, because I mean, these people got some crazy-ass plans on paper. The AI we see, the drones. I was at a protest outside the governor's house in New Hampshire a few weeks ago. We were literally right outside his personal residence because they closed the state house. So it's like, if you're operating the state out of your house, that's the new state house. So we have every right to be outside your house and demand that you come and face us, because you work for us. We don't work for you. You serve us. And then all these cops there and Secret Service agents and drones right above our heads. Like, there were 75-year-old grandmothers there telling me how her mother's going to disown her because she won't get the vaccine. Her son has already disowned her because she didn't vote for Joe Biden. Like, this is the world we're in right now. These just families. There's two families. There's endless examples like this. It's like, you know, I mean, again, for me, I'd rather die living than die in my living room. Oh, beating a heroin addiction, you think I'm going to be afraid of this or stay away from people? The only way I got better was by connecting with other people. The opposite of addiction is connection. Why do you think isolation is, like, the worst torture tactic ever? Like, solitary confinement with prisoners? They say if these prisoners don't make up friends within the first 48 hours, that they'll basically all at least try to kill themselves. That's how bad being alone is. That's how hurtful it is. That's how traumatic it is for our brains and for our hearts and our spirits. We are social beings. We're all connected. We are brothers and sisters. There's one race, the human race. They want you to hate me and you to hate me, and they want you to hate the gay people, and they want me to hate the gay people. They want the black people to hate the white people. They want the Democrats and the Republicans. They want Christians versus Muslims and Jews. Like, and they got it. motherfuckers got it. We need to be better than that. See the tricks. We know it. The three of us know it. But how many other people? It's like, what is stoking? Like, we're so tribal by nature, and we want to fit in, and we want to be accepted, so we put ourselves in groups. But when we put ourselves in groups, we turn our minds off, and we're very easily swayed and very easily manipulated. That's what happens. And these people have been studying the mind for years. MK Ultra, mind control, CIA, that shit never went away. You know, torturing people with LSD and like all these crazy experiments. That shit never stopped.
You sound exactly like my good friend.
Really? Really?
Let me ask you, not to put you out there.
Sure.
The Earth.
It's flat.
Flat. I knew it.
It's definitely flat. It's definitely flat. If you study it for like 10 minutes with an open mind and you come at it from a humble place, literally. Do you know that NASA, the term NASA in Hebrew means to fool? To fool.
Well, I didn't know that.
Do you know that? Do you know who was involved in the formation of NASA?
The formation exactly?
Yeah, like who formed
I know
NASA?
it's Project Paperclip and all of that stuff.
So
all the
listen to this.
scientists were all
Listen to
Nazi
this.
scientists.
Werner von Braun, who was the Nazi scientist who had the dueling scar on his face, which is crazy. That's a cult. That's an occult ritual. These fights they have with swords, like they basically do the fencing without the face guard.
Right.
And like there's like these pictures at NASA with all these like scientists with these scars, scars on their face. And so Werner von Braun, Walt Disney, this guy by the name of Jack Parsons, he formed the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. He was a devotee and an avid follower of Aleister Crowley. You know who Aleister Crowley is? He basically was one of the most evil people in our entire history. He formed the foundations for like Satanism and things like that. It was very influential in that regard, but you know who he is, you know how evil he is. And then the fourth guy was L. Ron Hubbard. You know who that is? The Church of Scientology. The four of them were involved in the formation of NASA. They literally have Buzz Aldrin on a video. Like, you don't think we went... Do you think we went to the moon?
I personally do.
You personally do?
I personally do.
Okay, so I'll just throw out a few things. You seem like an open-minded guy, right?
I am.
Okay, so there's a video of an 8-year-old girl sitting down with Buzz Aldrin. She goes, "Why haven't we been back to the moon in 46 years?" And he goes, "Well, the truth," he goes, "that's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question." He goes, "Because the truth is, we didn't go there." And like literally they have NASA astronauts on, like, in interviews being asked about the technology that got them to the moon. And this guy, I think his name was Don Henderson, I might have got the name wrong, but he's a NASA astronaut, and he's like, "That's because we destroyed the data, or destroyed the technology." He's like, "We don't have that anymore." I'm like, "Okay, fair. You destroyed the technology, the greatest achievement of man ever, and you just destroyed it. Cool. Maybe I can go with that, right?" And then they also have a video. "Okay, can we see the real original footage, the telemetry data?" "Oh, well, we don't have that either." Another fairly interesting point. Okay, sure, you don't have that, you don't have that. But then they also admit, so there's something called low Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit is 99 miles to 1,200 miles.
Right.
And they literally, there's video after video after video of NASA saying, "Well, we still don't have the technology to leave low Earth orbit." There's Obama giving speeches like, "We don't, we're going to invest in flights so we can get out past beyond low Earth orbit." Like literally video after video of that. You see like footage from the International Space Station where these astronauts are supposedly floating, and you actually see there's like this video all over the place where they start glitching out. Like, it looks like it was this video editing, they start glitching out. There's one where like one of the astronauts heads to the back, like away from the camera, and then he like makes a turn and his body like disappears before he's out of frame. Like from his shoulders like to his head were just gone, just disappeared. So it was clearly video editing software. So like you start to add up a lot of these things and you realize who formed NASA, who worked there, like even there's even more clues, like Stanley Kubrick. Like there's a picture with him and Lance Armstrong, or not Lance Armstrong, but Neil Armstrong. And there's a picture with like Arthur C. Clarke's in this photo. And then like, have you guys ever seen the movie The Shining? So like there's this one scene where like the little boy's in that crazy scary hallway, and he's got a sweater on and it says Apollo 11.
Right.
And it was like, some people believe that he was like hinting that like it was a fraud, like he was involved in because he was a director. Right. So there was, I mean, just all these things for me. And then like in terms of like flat earth or whatever, like they'll tell you, okay, go down to the beach, stand on the beach, watch the ships disappear over the horizon. That's what they always say. That's one of the things they always say. So okay, you go down to the beach, and there are ships that appear to disappear from your line of sight, from your perspective. But if you pull out a camera, say like a P900, a Nikon P900, and it has like at least 83x zoom, you can pull that boat back in for miles and miles and miles and miles. And NASA says the curvature calculation is 8 inches times distance squared. So if it's 100 miles away, with that calculation, it turns out to be like 6,666 feet. It would have been below your line of sight. That's the calculation they give for curvature. So you go, okay, that ship's 100 miles away and it's still in my telescope or it's still in my camera. Where's the curvature? That's a question I have.
Okay.
And I have many other questions too, but that's just like broaching the topic for me. I look at NASA's lies, what does it mean, who is involved. Like almost all of NASA astronauts are Freemasons. They're like self-admitted Freemasons as well. So, I mean, I really just think that I take a grand conspiratorial view on the world, if you haven't realized.
That's why I said you're just like my friend.
A grand conspiratorial view.
I've heard.
Yeah.
I've been.
Yeah. Because, I mean, seriously, like, why should I believe one drip of what these people tell me?
You don't have to.
You know? I don't want to. I don't feel like, in my gut, like,
that's the libertarian point of view. You don't have to, man.
I don't have to do anything. I can think what I want. As long as I don't harm others.
Exactly.
I should be able to do whatever I want as long as there's no victim and I don't, threaten others or hurt others, That's how I feel. I want to be left the fuck alone. And they're not going to do it unless we put these people down once and for all. It's time to put these people down. And I really think when they find out what these people did to these children, it's going to be on. And like I said, we need to build a conscious resistance, a greater reset where we put all this stuff behind us. It's time to bury the hatchets. Right? It's time to bury the hatchets.
That's what I mean about
some real deep hatchets.
You're not my enemy.
No.
We can disagree.
We can disagree on everything.
Times over NASA, the moon, flat Earth.
Yeah.
We can disagree all day long. You're not my enemy.
Exactly. Did I offend you with anything I said? Did I make you angry? Do I sound like an angry person? No, I'm just a person who's passionate, who's frustrated. Like, I got through a really dark place. I didn't even want to live a year ago. And now I want to live, and these assholes have my family afraid of me. And all my friends are, like, going along, complying with all these things. And trying to shame people like me for just wanting to breathe oxygen and live my life and connect with other people. Is that so much to ask? Like, there's a reason depression and mental health is abysmal. It's because people do isolate themselves, and it's a fucking problem. It's like, if we want to build a better world, it's got to start with you, within you. The biggest battle we have is the one we have with ourselves, the most important one. Because if we haven't addressed our own bullshit, what we've done to contribute to this world, and like forgive ourselves and learn to love ourselves and accept who we are and be proud of it, because you're actually doing the right thing and you're not harming other people and you're trying to spread love, like, it's hard. When you tell the truth is belligerent. It fights deception and lies. The truth just by nature is belligerent because almost all of society, we've all been lied to. So when you start saying things that go against what they already believe they're emotionally tied to and their ego is tied to, people have a hard time admitting that they are wrong. They have a hard time admitting that they were wrong. I know I did.
Or that they don't know.
Or that they don't know. It's okay not to know. You know what I always say? My favorite thing is I say, I'd rather have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned. That's where I come from. That's the place that I come from. Like, am I curious about flat Earth? Yes. Yes, I am. Have I gone deep in it? No, not yet. But I certainly don't believe NASA and that it's like, people that like fuck with flat Earth, it's like, if you actually look into it, every ancient civilization we had, all the ones that we revere, like the Egyptians and the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Norse, all these different ancient cultures that we revere and we marvel at the things that they've done and built and figured out, all of them depicted the Earth as flat with the tree of life coming out of like the center of our world with a dome, like a firmament dome. They all depicted it that way. So if they all depicted it that way and we revere and respect them so much, why then do we turn around and say they're fucking crazy because they thought the Earth was flat? These people were really intelligent, holistically intelligent, because they integrated the heart and they knew we were all deeply spiritually connected, because we are. My podcast is called Go Within to Get Out. Go within. Because the most important battle we face right now is with ourselves. We need people to humble themselves, be humbled, and get rid of their egos and their selfishness and realize we've been badly deceived. And it's time to put our petty little differences aside and come together once and for all, like, in truth, love, and freedom. That's what I fight for.
I'm looking you up right now.
I'll definitely check it out.
I'm about to die. All right, guys.
All right, man. Good luck out there.
Let me just say goodbye before this thing dies. I don't know if you want to be on camera.
Put me up.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right.
I don't know.
Just got done talking to my friends. Libertarians! I found some libertarians! I love it.
They actually exist.
I love Greer, South Carolina. It's like I was meant to go on this walk. Don't be afraid to live. Appreciate life. This shit is amazing when you just open up to it. Happy New Year. Later.